Hey, I'm basically on a streak of 2 weeks, but I had a reset without ejaculation last Saturday and now it's Friday, so take it for what. But yeah, something was in the air yesterday when I was in the students' bar because my friend got into a little fight with another friend, and also I got into a fight. But their fight was a little bit physical, and my fight was just debating. To me, it's crazy how people that are allegedly well informed and smart and are studying don't understand basic stuff because it is not the mainstream propaganda. They don't understand that there's hypergamy. When you talk with girls, it's also like this. You talk with them, you say, I don't like that girls always ghost. Honestly, I kind of understand it because they get so many DMs that they are overwhelmed. But in many cases, you already would arrange something and then they just ghost you instead of saying, when you ask later, like on the day of the date, you ask, so do we do it? And then you just get ghosted and you are like, awesome. So I was waiting for like 5 days or whatever and thinking something will happen and then I just get ghosted. So women will do this type of thing and it's very rude and there's not enough awareness about it. Therefore, I think it's important. But when you say something like this about ghosting to women, they just reply, yeah, man, do the same. I don't go into fights with them and try to explain to them that yes, this is true, but they always only go for the same few percent of men and they don't even see the rest, and the rest would not act like this. It's kind of pointless. I don't want to pick fights, but sometimes it's just a casual moment where I bring it up, and normally I would do it rather with a guy or something. But in general, I think it's important to spread awareness about that because then there's more compassion also from the female side, and maybe they adjust their behavior and create a little bit higher virtues than what currently they do. They are having such a broken dating strategy where they try to overanalyze guys beforehand. They are analyzing their entire online presence just to find out if it is a good match, and they're basically scanning on purpose for flaws, and this is just very all toxic. But yeah, it's just crazy to me how I had to explain to that friend of mine, who I consider kind of NPC normie still, how hard it was to explain to him the concept of hypergamy. This is the same guy where I had already talks with him in the past. I was trying to explain to him how Bill Gates had personal interest in the lockdown situation with the vaccines and stuff. And already there it was hard to make a point with him. And now I got into this new discussion with him about hypergamy, and he would say, no, for a relationship of straight couples, guys and women are staying in relationships for the same amount of time. This is mathematics, so you cannot tell me that there's hypergamy. He was saying hypergamy is just a meme. You know this picture where it's shown how this works, where you have guys on the left side and women on the right side, and there's drawn lines, but it's in a hypergamy way. He's like, this is just a meme. I was explaining also about personal experience, how many guys don't get anyone, and then others get a lot of chicks and so on. Then he was like, this is just anecdotal. And at this point, I really thought, am I talking to ChatGPT right now or what? This is such a ChatGPT rhetoric that when you try to explain something, the answer is, this is anecdotal. And the only issue why he wouldn't understand my point is because I couldn't take it for a while from the angle that he needed so that he finally understands it. And he thought I'm the stupid one because I don't get mathematics. And I tried to explain to him, you obviously are missing data points, and what you're doing is just a very dumped down idea that you have, and you think that this is somehow resembled by mathematics, but it's not. And he would not get it until I really sat down with him and explained to him everything in detail. I really have to sometimes draw entire visual pictures and explain it in this way to people so that they even understand it, because they're not able to have visual logic. But for me, visual logic is a very basic skill, especially when you're in elevated states of consciousness. You think in visuals, and they make everything instantly understandable and apparent to your mind if you know how to do it. And he's just not able. So I had to explain to him how if there is a guy A and a guy B, and there's a female A and a female B, both want to date only guy A because he is better. He ends up with female A, and female B also wants him but cannot have him. So she decides on purpose to stay single because she does not want to be with man B. Man B has no choice and just stays single because no one wants him. And then when the relationship of guy A and female A is over, then female B, it's her turn, and female B is then going with guy A. And then finally he understood it and said, now I get your point. He didn't say I agree, but he said I get your point. So even after that, when he got my point, he still chose to not agree, even though I destroyed his entire logic. This is ridiculous. So the argument got very heated, but I think it's important to have such heated arguments from time to time, because when you can push through and prove your point, you are normalizing in the field of your environment this information, and also others hear it and also process it, and then this gets more normalized in the collective field. Some knowledge gets transported that was before that not accessible because some people have a bias, and so I'm actually helping information to spread and spread awareness, and this is part of how you also heal the earth. Yeah, also like when you spread information about other stuff like Epstein files, for example, if people are not digging into them, then you can spread information like this. This is less relevant now than it was months ago, but this is also an example. And by the way, this friend of mine, he's not a close friend, you have to understand. So it was already, he was drunk, okay, I was also drunk. I generally have such an extravagant type of personality that I like to get a bit loud and provocative, but that's just me. I'm expressive is what I want to say. But he got so triggered. I think I was the first one who said that he's stupid or something, but he got so triggered, and then he was all the time telling me that I'm stupid because I cannot do the mathematics, and at some point he got so angry that he pushed his forehead against my forehead for a while. And I was like, bro, you cannot solve this through violence, and why does it even trigger you to this degree? This is how people start acting the moment you challenge their belief system. You can see it all the time, also on Reddit. You give a very small comment on something, then they analyze you, they go into your entire history, they then put it out there and tell, therefore you are this and that, and they generalize based on some stupid information from the internet without knowing who you really are and what you really are about. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.